Okay, so let's talk about 12 Rules for Life. Whether you've actually read it or you've just kind of seen the buzz online, you know it's a book that's pretty hard to ignore. But here's the thing that's always struck me as interesting. We live in an age that's not exactly a huge fan of rules, right? So how did a book packed with them become this massive global phenomenon? Well, that's what we're going to dig into today. We're going to unpack some of the core ideas and really try to get at what makes this thing tick.
And yeah, that really is the central question, isn't it? The book's whole argument kind of hinges on this one idea, that as much as we think we want total freedom from rules, we actually crave structure. Deep down, we need it. And it's that push and pull, that tension, that we're going to explore, because it really gets to the heart of why these ideas clicked with so many people around the world. So where does a book like this even start? Well, it starts right here, with a pretty heavy, pretty blunt idea. I mean, it doesn't pull any punches at all. The foundational premise is that suffering isn't just, something that happens to us sometimes. No, it's a core, unavoidable part of what it means to be alive. And everything else in the book really builds from that starting point. It's the reason we need rules to begin with. Okay, so that leads us to what the book calls the problem of being. It's basically the core challenge we all face, and it's why the book argues we need these rules. Think of them as an antidote to all that chaos. See, the argument goes something like this. What makes us different from, say, a squirrel is that we know we're vulnerable. We're consciously aware of our own fragility, our own mortality. And man, that awareness creates this unique kind of anxiety, doesn't it? We're always dealing with chaos, both inside our own heads and out in the world. So the rules aren't just about being a good person. They're framed as a toolkit, a practical way to create just enough order in your own life so you can stand up and face that tough reality without getting completely swamped by it. All right, so let's get into the first rule. Stand up straight. And this is where things get really fascinating, because the book doesn't start with some lofty philosophical concept. Nope, it goes straight to biology and looks at a creature that's been around for a very, very long time. So, the book introduces this idea of the dominance hierarchy. And the argument is that this isn't some new human invention. It's an ancient, fundamental reality of life on Earth. And the prime example? The lobster. Now, you might be thinking, what on earth do I have in common with a lobster? Well, get this. Their nervous systems run on serotonin, the exact same chemical that affects our mood, our confidence, and our sense of status. It's wild when you think about it. And this really spells it out, doesn't it? You've got your top lobster, strutting around, confident, getting the best shelter, all the good stuff. Then you have the low-status lobster, all hunched over, stressed out, just trying not to get eaten. The book's point is that there's a primitive, ancient calculator deep inside your own brain that's doing the exact same thing. It's constantly tracking where you think you stand, and it adjusts your brain chemistry and your posture to match. So the idea of standing up straight with your shoulders back isn't just your mom telling you to have good posture. It's a physical signal you send back to that ancient part of your brain that says, hey, I'm here, I'm ready to engage, I'm ready to face the challenge. Okay, from lobsters to probably the most famous rule of all, clean your room. And look, this one gets misunderstood a lot. It's not literally just about tidying up. It's a really powerful metaphor for taking control of what you can control. And here's the philosophy behind it broken down. The main idea is just powerful in its simplicity. Before you try to go out and fix all the huge, complex problems in the world, you first have to get your own house in order. You have to stop doing the things that you yourself know are wrong. The argument is that by taking radical responsibility for your own tiny corner of the universe, you start to build the character, the strength, and maybe even the wisdom to take on bigger and bigger challenges. So, once you start getting your own house in order, what's next? Well, you have to confront the things you've been avoiding. This rule is all about what happens when we ignore the uncomfortable truths in our lives and how they tend to grow. To make this point, the book uses a really effective tool, a simple children's story about a boy named Billy who finds a dragon in his room. And the story is just a brilliant metaphor. At first, the dragon is tiny, about the size of a cat. But Billy's mom just keeps insisting there's no such thing as a dragon. And because it's ignored, what happens? It grows and grows until it's so big it literally fills the entire house and runs off with it. It's only when Billy finally confronts his mom and says, "Mom, there is a dragon," that things change. The moment the truth is acknowledged, the dragon shrinks right back down to a perfectly manageable size. The message couldn't be clearer, right? Your problems don't vanish when you ignore them. They just get bigger until you can't ignore them anymore. Okay, so think about it. Standing up straight, cleaning your room, confronting your dragons. These aren't just random bits of self-help advice. The book argues they are all building blocks, steps on a path towards the ultimate goal, which is finding the real antidote to life's suffering, meaning. And this really comes down to a fundamental choice that we all face maybe every single day. On one side, you have expediency. That's the easy path, right? The short-term fix. Telling that little white lie to avoid an awkward conversation, putting something off until tomorrow. The book says this path, well, it leads to bitterness and resentment. But then, on the other side, you have the path of meaning. This is about shouldering responsibility, telling the truth even when it's hard, and aiming at something noble. It's the harder path, for sure, but it's the one that gives life purpose and makes all that inevitable suffering feel, well, worthwhile. And that's really the core of it all. This is positioned as the ultimate antidote. The pursuit of meaning is how you walk that tightrope between chaos and order. It's what gives you the strength to face all the hardship we talked about at the beginning, but to do it without letting it destroy you, without becoming cynical and resentful. So, that all sounds great, right? Pursue meaning. But how? How do you actually start doing that? Well, the book's answer is refreshingly simple and down to earth. It's not about some huge, life-altering vision quest. Nope. It's about starting small. Starting with what you can see right here, right now. This is the final challenge the book leaves you with. Just look around your life. What are the little things you're putting off? That pile of paperwork on your desk you keep ignoring? That phone call you know you need to make but keep dreading? The argument is you have to face those things, voluntarily, on purpose. Stop making your own life more chaotic and difficult than it already is. And when you do that, you're left with just the pure, unavoidable tragedies of life, which are hard enough, but they're no longer made worse by your own neglect and deceit. You start by fixing yourself, and by doing that, you can't help but start fixing a little piece of the world too. And that really brings us to the book's final provocative question. It leaves us with this to ponder. What would the world actually look like if every single one of us decided to stop pointing fingers and instead just took full responsibility for our own lives and aimed for the highest good we could conceive of? The book suggests the positive impact would be almost unimaginable, not just for us as individuals, but for everyone. It's a pretty powerful thought to end on, isn't it?